Ghouls and ghosts are loose again, but Mondo answers the call. Here's your spooky spot on the Mondo The Real Ghostbusters Peter Venkman and Sam Hain Collector's Pack Timed Edition. They're back to save the world in 1/12 scale, complete with swappable hands and portraits. Mondo's Dr. Peter Venkman 1/12 scale figure is equipped with his trusty proton pack, particle thrower, and ghost trap. And each of our real Ghostbusters comes paired with a goblin from the show. In this case, the friendly spectral accomplice Slimer. Available for a limited time, the special collector's pack also includes the evil ghost of Halloween, Sam Hain, with swappable hands and portraits. The 1/12 scale Sam Hain is exclusively available as part of their collector's pack. Seems like we're still sticking with the theme of Halloween, and before we get a closer look at the real Ghostbusters, Peter Venkman and Sam Hain, I'd like to thank the folks first at Mondo that did provide the sample. Mondo's The Real Ghostbusters are currently listed over on their site. The timed edition, though, that does come include with Sam Hain, unfortunately was selling out. It sold for $202. However, though, if you're still interested to get yourself Dr. Peter Venkman and Slimer, the regular version is still going to be listed on their site for $101. So it sort of works its way out that Sam Hain cost about $100. Well, it literally costs $100 more. We're going to, again, take the tape measure. We're going to see how tall these figures stand. I'm going to bring in also a few examples, too, for comparisons. First things first, though, to the Dear Doctor. Peter Venkman is going to stand at 6 3/4 inches in height, working out to be a figure that's about 16.5 centimeters tall. Then, though, to the mascot of Halloween, no, not Sam Hain, you're looking, though, at the figure standing up to the stem of his pumpkin, 9 inches. 9 inches exactly. That's going to translate, though, to a figure that's 22.5 centimeters tall. Mondo now marks the third company that's handled the real Ghostbusters property. Anybody growing up, though, in the 80s would already know the Kenner line of Ghostbusters, and here's what Peter Venkman looks like, along with a slightly smaller Venkman. There was also a Diamond Select. Diamond Select did dabble in the dark arts. They only really released the core 4. They released also a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and Slimer. Hoping, though, to find any one of those Ghostbusters, at the very least, though, Venkman. I couldn't find them in my collection, so we're going to at least, though, use the example of Kenner. Somebody also did make the recommendation that they actually pair really well with Jada Toys' recent releases of Scooby-Doo figures. And though I don't think they've ever really collaborated in the comics, certainly not in cartoons, the very idea, though, that Mystery Incorporated would also be working then with the Ghostbusters to bust the spooks and specters seems like a really fun idea. I hope that would be something that they'd ever do down the road. I tried my best again to separate the screen by all the exclusive items that come include the timed edition right over here, and then all the regular things that come include with Peter Venkman right over here. Things that you may notice, though, right away is some cardboard cutouts of ghouls. What was cool, though, inside the box, though, was there was a big cardboard sheet. You get to pop these out and put them together. All it really is involved when it comes to putting these together is you get yourself a triangular standee that then slots onto the bottom of the ghosts, and you got yourself a couple of display stand pieces that you can have displayed along with the real Ghostbusters. They are unfortunately only going to be printed on the one side, but I don't really think it necessarily needs to be a double-sided image. You have Fearsome Flush, one of my favorites of the original Ghostbusters from Kenner. You also got the Big Eyeball Ghost. Although in the Big Eyeball Ghost's case in the 80s, this would all have been, I think, done in purple, but the eyeball stays about the same. Again, these just attach in place. A fairly thick card, too. Love the fact that they include things like this. Just fun little things that you can display along with the figure. You also get yourself a flying bat eyeball. I don't think that's really what a bat flying eyeball would look like, or sound like at least. And then finally, though, you get yourself kind of a scuba diving ghost. Again, it gets only printed on the one side. Nice thick card for these. Really do like the look of these. I think they've done a nice job on them, so you can put those right over there. Okay, so for the things that we get ourselves with Peter Venkman that are the timed edition would basically inhabit the world of Sam Hain. I know it's not Sam Hain, it's Sauron, but no, in the cartoon and in the early days, even like Loomis would have misquoted the name of Sam Hain, and we'll kind of just stick with that. Sam Hain, though, does come include, again, some swappable parts. Mainly, though, the figure does only really have some swappable hands. So on the ends of his hands, he already has sort of grabbing hands, but he does have, though, a relaxed hand. And he does also have a gripping hand. Although the gripping hand doesn't really, I don't think it really serves much purpose. I guess, if anything, you probably could latch it onto the arm of Slimer. So you could be like carrying around Slimer by his arm. I don't know, maybe. But again, you got a couple of swappable hands. Not a bad thing at all. Each of the individual piggies, whether they go to the market or not, are all well painted. You can see the nails on the ends of those. Cool looking hands. Then the figure does also come included with some swappable heads. Now, getting this guy out of the packaging, I think this was the defaulted head that he had. Let's go ahead and pick up Sam Hain right now. All in all, just like one of my favorite ghosts from the Ghostbusters. I think right below, though, the Boogeyman. Now, the Boogeyman is also going to get paired with Spangler. So if you get the chance, get the timed edition, though, of Egon Spangler, it's going to come included with the Boogeyman. Oh, man, that's a cool-looking ghost. But this one, though, does have more darker eyes. Now, don't worry, though, the eyes do change with the alternate options available. Overall, though, I really like the look of the pumpkin head, though. And not really, though, my favorite of the three, but it's definitely, though, a really well-painted head sculpt. If, though, you wanted to change out the heads, other options are available. You got kind of more of the angrier Sam Hain, which is really kind of cool, too. You got really gnarly-looking teeth on the top and the bottom, glowing yellow eyes. Really nice-looking, well-painted pumpkin. The top, you can see, very noticeably are done with more of an airbrushing of a reddish-orange, where, like, as we get to the main flesh of the pumpkin, it gets a little bit more lighter, kind of right around here. So I do like this, some nice contrasting colors. Swapping out the heads, actually, surprisingly, is very easy. Just going to hold on to the torso here for Sam. Don't let him loose. Pop that off from a very large ball joint. Now, you may think to yourself, large ball joint, that's going to cause conflict, isn't it? No, not at all. Just pop the head onto the ball joint, and you're good to go. It still retains some levels of posability, though I have noticed with Sam Hain, when you do tend to move his head around, sometimes, though, it does pop it off the ball joint, but that's something that can easily be fixed. You get this head sculpt, then you get what I think is my favorite really of the three. This one has beady little eyes. Check out, though, the eyes of Sam Hain. Big smile on his face as well. If you have a ghost that's looking at you and he's got a big smile on his face, he knows something you maybe don't. And I think it would be a good idea to kind of stay real clear of that. Again, you got some really nice dark coloring of that warm orange there on the top. Nice auburn orange. And again, you got the lighter yellow, though, yellowish orange, though, making up the majority of the pumpkin face. To, again, swap out the faces. Actually, this one's really cool, too, but we're going to pop the head off again from the ball joint. We're going to replace it then with the one that has the little eyes. There we go. And Sam Hain, now is good to go. Now, again, if you did want to also swap out the hands, just as easy to do as the head, you're going to hold on to the hands, wiggle it off from the post, take the hand that you want to use. Thumbs still go in, whether you're from the spectral world or not. And then again, swapping the hands is super easy to do. Sam Hain, though, just looks as good as he does in the cartoon. Really eerie, ominous-looking character. He doesn't have any legs or anything like that, but he just has this trailing kind of cloak that he wears. Love that they've gone the bat kind of sleeves on the ends of those. Really well painted, too. He looks just as good, again, like he does from the cartoon. Color matching, I think, is pretty good there also as well. Sam Hain's articulation. Again, the head does move forward and back. It is sitting on a ball joint. Again, mileage may vary depending on how far down you have that on the ball joint. Again, moving the head up and down doesn't seem to be so much the issue. Moving it back and forth also doesn't seem to be the issue. Sometimes, though, when you are rotating the head around, this one actually fares a little bit better than the first one we looked at. But yeah, the head ball joint works really well in the figure. Top torso is going to be on a ball joint. It doesn't move really up and down as much, though, as it does rotate forward and back, or back and forth this way. Again, you can also rock it a little bit back and forth that way, too. The arm does rotate. It does rotate all the way around. It does feel like it gets a little tight the moment you kind of put his arms up like you're holding him up. I don't think you're really going to be able to hold up a ghost. Again, you can also move them all the way around. The arms do hinge, but they hinge only what seems to be about 45 degrees. I don't think it necessarily needs more than that. Does he really need to have a full 90-degree angle bend? I don't feel like he does. He does have, though, a bend in the elbow. No issues there. You can rotate the forearm there, too. Rotate the hand and hinge the wrist back and forth. Nothing really from the waist down, or nothing really from, like, the cloak down. But I really love the coloring of this. I love how, like, the bottom of his cloak sort of spirals like this. Really fun figure with Sam Hain. Again, I know that's not really how we pronounce his name now. Okay, so let's have a look at Peter Venkman. Now, Peter Venkman does have quite a lot of accessories with, even just to say, though, that if you have only just the chance to get yourself the regular edition for everything now we're about to see will set you back about $101. And then, of course, shipping and tax that goes with that as well. But I think for that, you're getting a pretty good figure with a lot of cool accessories. First things first, Peter Venkman does come included with not as cool of an accessory, but he comes with a clear acrylic display stand. Some pegs, though, tell you right away where that's going to go onto his boots. If you look actually on the bottom of his boots, he does actually have pegs. What's interesting, though, is that you'll see one peg is a little bit larger than the other. So it tells you right away which one it has to go with where. I'm never really sure why companies choose to have selective peg shapes or peg sizes, like they have to go a dedicated way. I mean, really, if you were just to flip this around one way, I mean, wouldn't it just Wouldn't work the exact same way plugging into those pegs. But again, like Peter Venkman's got himself a display stand. The figure, truth be told, though, doesn't really necessarily need a display stand. I've noticed, though, with the sides of his boots, nice flat boots, by the way, the figure has no issues standing whatsoever. For the figure's also accessories, he does have some swappable gloves. Now, these don't have full gloves. I mean, obviously, he has little cuff pieces that are going to shimmy their way up the forearms. And then he also has the gloved hands. If you did want to swap those out, just as easy as Sam Hain, you're just going to hold on to the forearm, wiggle that off. What I'll maybe, though, do is I'll leave his regular skin hand or his flesh hand on the one side, and then I'll do it with the glove so you can see the differences there. The glove portion of that just, again, slides over his forearm. Then take, of course, your hand, and that plugs just in place like that. Super easy. I've noticed one thing, though, and I was worried with the figure of this being a little bit smaller than your traditional 12-inch tall figures that Mondo usually handles. Yet, though, if you look at actually the peg's a good size, not the kind of peg that's very narrow, very small. This definitely does feel like it's got a good secure grip, but again, it's super also easy to change. So again, you get the gloved hand, or again, you have your regular hand. I probably would just end up really displaying the figure, I feel, with just his regular hand. But again, you just pop that back off, slide this off his arm, and then pop the hand back to where we left it. Again, very large pegs. Slide that into place. Peter Venkman, I guess while we're also out of holding Peter Venkman, we'll also show you guys that he does also come included with an alternate head portrait. Part of me, though, would have really liked if they could have included a third head. Maybe that would have been covered in slime. After all, he's coming with his buddy Slimer, after all. It would have been funny, though, if they actually came included with like an angrier Venkman head, all covered with slime on top of his head. But then we have a more kind of concerned or serious Peter Venkman. And then we also have just, again, like the more laughable Dave Coulier Peter Venkman, which I really don't prefer Dave Coulier doing the voice of Peter Venkman. But again, like good-looking head sculpts in either case. Swapping out the head, though, again, just popping it off the ball joint, popping then the new head in place. The hair doesn't seem to change all that much when you're looking at the two. It does seem, though, like they're the exact same sculpting. Again, it's mostly just the face that's been changed. I do really think that this is the better of the two head sculpts, and for display purposes, I would likely beeline it back to this head sculpt rather than the more sterner look. So again, we're just going to pop that back off. Get that just back there. There we go. For other accessories that come included with the figure, he does come included with his proton pack. Now, the proton pack is colored the way it is in the cartoon, so it's less black. It's kind of more of a blue. It's got some really more brighter colors of red, some oranges in there, and yellows as well. The Neutrono wand is attached onto the side. The one real issue I have kind of with the Neutrono wand is the way that it clips in place. Looking, though, online, just to make sure I had it in the right place. There is a little clip right here, a C-clip. When you attach, though, it onto the Proton Pack wand, you have to, let me just get that off here for a second. There we go. It's just a very thin bit of plastic. Now, it hasn't yet broken. I certainly hope that it doesn't. I do wish, though, that they could have maybe made this a little bit wider, or maybe not even complete this so it's a full C. Had it maybe just been more of a hook. My only real issue, though, again, like lining everything up, snapping this into place, it is secure. It's not going to go anywhere. But just with the pressure and the concern that goes behind putting this against a clip that's only, again, just the right size, no bigger, no smaller. It just is literally the exact same, almost just, again, it's literally the size, though, of the Neutrono wand handle. I do wish, though, that it could have attached a little bit more easier, where I don't feel like I'm as worried about snapping that in place. But again, it holds really well. I mean, again, like you have it displayed that way. One thing I do think that they've done a nice job of doing is they've actually included a more rubbery hose. If this had been more plastic, my worry, though, would be that this would develop stress marks. But being that this is more of a rubbery, it does have a lot more give to it. He does also have a ghost trap. Now, the thing that's kind of cool about the ghost trap is not only, again, is it colored in the blue. You can see that it's detailed the way it is in the cartoon. Really looking good there. It does actually have two features to it. So you get the regular ghost trap with the door closed shut. But what you can do, though, is you can slide this off. Similar, though, if you were put it into containment unit, slide it off. And if you look at the side of this, careful not to drop it. There's a little groove right here. And the groove sits against this slot. So there's a little lip of plastic right there. So when you put the ghost trap in, you just literally slide it in like that. And the ghost trap looks the way it does in the cartoon. What it does, though, also, is that you can slide this off. And even if, though, you only get the regular version of this, there we go, slide it off. It does also come included with Sam Hain being sucked down the trap. This is still available with the regular version. It doesn't have to be the timed edition solely. So again, that just slides in place, just like that. And then it looks like Samhain, again, is now being trapped. Very, very cool. I love that. Some electricity, of course, as, of course, the spirit is being drawn back into the trap. I like that they've actually colored the bottom, though, of the flaps of his cloak, too, so it looks like there's some light shining up from it. There's no posability or anything like that. I don't really feel like, though, Samhain of this size necessarily needs to have any bit of articulation, but it's just a real fun way of having this displayed. So again, if you don't get yourself the chance to get the exclusive timed edition, even really just the regular version is still going to have that too. Let's slide that off. One thing I did want to show you, though, is the way that the trap attaches onto the pack. So we're going to go back to the original doors being shut like that. If you look at the ghost trap and then you look at the proton pack, there's a clip right here. If I get my blasted finger out of the way, there's also like a little ledged clip right there. In theory, though, the ghost trap does fit onto the side. And it fits well. Like, I don't have any issues really with the ghost trap staying in place. Though, listed the way they have it online, they sort of have the foot pedal of the ghost trap wrapped around this clip right here. Now, my one worry, though, with this being, it does feel like it's a wire, but still, though, I don't know if I really would want to warp it in a way that I wouldn't be able to get it back the way it was. Boy, that's a lot of W's. So, yes, while it could, in theory, wrap around this because it is a wire, I'm more just inclined to just loop this around this way. Add a little bit of extra baggage onto the side, a little excess of wire, but then I don't have to worry about, unraveling it. If you ravel it up the first time, again, it's just going to look really warped when you unravel it again. So I'm choosing, though, instead to kind of have a little bit more excess. To get the proton pack, though, on his back, on the sides, though, the belt is just attached here and here. So you just attach the two pieces. Take yourself Peter Venkman, and then you don't really necessarily need to have the head off. I mean, if you find it's easier, you can certainly do that, but I just find, though, that you can easily take the straps off, slide it down his back, move his arm, obviously, out of the way, get his arm out of the way, and then that just attaches back into those slots. Now, anytime, though, you have a backpack that relies on straps and relies on having the tab back in place, usually one is always easy to snap back in, and then there's one that always seems not to stay in place. I've noticed, though, on mine, it seems this one right here. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it stays well in place. At least they're not really relying on a peg system where you have to plug that onto the back of a hole in his torso. But the pack stays fine. I mean, again, like it's no real issues there. Take yourself your neutrino wand, and again, we're just going to detach it from the top. Again, it's the only one thing I really am a little worried about. There we go. Again, see the thin nature of that plastic. Not to say, though, it would break, but with the friction of forcing that against it, that's my only real worry. You take yourself the neutrino wand. The plastic is pretty good for these hands too, and we'll just put the hand, or put the handle in the hand. Then we can also bend the arm around, take the other handle here, or the nozzle I should really say, and that just fits around his hand just like that. There we go. The last thing then we'll have a look at before, of course, we look then at Slimer. He also comes with his neutrino stream. Now, the proton stream is translucent in blue plastic. It does have, though, a very large ball-bearing size end to it, and this is part that's going to plug onto, obviously, the handle. Careful not to cross the streams, but careful also not to get your hand too close to the stream. It's just going to be incinerated off. But we'll just kind of plug the hand in place. I think I actually let go of the other handle there. And then you can take yourself the neutrino stream and just plug that onto the end of it. So, again, like you got Peter Venkman looking like he's zapped. He's probably going to need the rest, though, of the Ghostbusters in order to battle the likes of Samhain. But you can have the figure displayed that way as well. So that's Peter Venkman. I guess maybe what we'll do is we'll just take all this off for right now. Then we'll kind of look at the figures. Well, I guess, you know what? We'll look at Slimer. Then we'll go back to Peter Venkman. We'll kind of cover off the figure's features and also his posability. The one other thing that also comes included with the regular version is Slimer. Love the look of Slimer here. Slimer does already have his dedicated base, so you don't have to worry about having a way to try to display this figure alongside Peter. But it does have some posability, so you can also move it up and down. You can also move it back and forth. You really could, in theory, rotate it all the way around. But you can also take Slimer off the stand. It plugs in, very similar, very easy, just as easy, really, as changing out the heads here. Slimer, as it is for coloring, looks certainly like he does from the cartoon. Very nice bright green coloring. He's got some nice dark accent colors added in there as well. He does also have some posability, so he can move his arms back and forth. I wouldn't necessarily say it can move out. That definitely seems like it's only very limited to just swiveling back and forth, and that's really fine. I don't think it necessarily needs that, again, have posability where the arms can come out. He still can be surprised. You know, again, he can still sneak up on Peter, slime him, and of course Peter's just going to oh man, Peter's going to go after him, and he's going to have the other trio of Ghostbusters stop him. But again, that just snaps onto the bottom of that, and you got yourself good old Slimer. Put Slimer right over there. Back, though, to Peter. And again, we've already had a look at the head. We'll spend one last time to look at that before we kind of move on to the rest of the figure's body. Very, again, faithful. One thing I will say, though, about Mondo, I'm glad that they made the sizes small like this. I love collecting the 1/12 scale Mondo figures, but the thing about that, though, is it takes up a lot more real estate space. Having, though, Ghostbusters this size rather than 12-inch tall, because, again, like, you're going to have to also factor in the size of the ghost. For a Ghostbuster of Peter Venkman to be 12 inches in height, you'd have to also then increase the height of Sam Hain. You'd have a giant-sized figure. Keeping the cost and keeping the size small like this means that it's more easier for collectors to get their hands on the Ghostbusters, where they're, again, not going to be taking up as much space. For overall features, again, each of the respected Ghostbusters do have their different colored uniforms. Peter Venkman's is all brown here. He's got the Ghostbuster symbol there still on the side. He doesn't have his name tag or anything like that. Nice teal color that he has in the cartoon for his collar. He's got the elbow pads there on the side. Just, again, really nice looking figure. I think they've handled this really well. Can't wait really to see the other 3 Ghostbusters. He also does have some nice details also done to his belt. I don't know if that's a ghost tracking device. Maybe that's a communicator. He's also got a little clip there on his belt. The clip, though, just kind of be careful of this when it comes to the figure's posability. Moving the legs kind of forward and back, you want to just kind of make sure that that doesn't get bent. But all in all, very nice looking figure for Peter Venkman. For Peter's articulation, it has a little bit more, though, than Sam Hain. Head, first of all, is going to be on a ball joint. It's not really showing you guys the full benefits of a ball joint, but the head rotates all the way around. It does move up and down. You can also move it back and forth as well. Now, it did seem like the figure does have a ball joint. I don't think it is the case, though, that he has a ball joint at the base of his neck. It might only really be just at the top of the neck. Arms rotate all the way around. You can also hinge those arms out a lot more, though, than what you could with Sam. 90 degrees. So you can easily do that there. The figure does also have a swivel in his, not so much in his bicep, but more swivel in his elbow, which also serves as well as a single hinge. Hands rotate all the way around. You can hinge those back and forth. Hinges back and forth. The figure does have, it seems like a ball joint. I mean, it really only does rotate back and forth with only just a little bit of movement up and down. But that's, again, enough to sign off on this being a ball. The legs do split. Not really far, though, mind you. You can take those legs and move them forward. I did notice, though, moving them forward, they're really tight. Guess that's not a bad thing. If you're not necessarily going to have your figure in a walking pose, then I don't think you're going to be disappointed that they're a little on the more tighter side. I don't know what likelihood there's going to be that we're going to have an Ecto 1 getting released by Mondo, but, you know, again, fitting the size profile of all the Ghostbusters, but that would be really cool as well. Does have a single hinge in the knee. The lower leg does rotate forward and back, and then Peter Venkman's boots have an ankle pivot up and down, and ankle rocker as well. Did I forget to also mention? No, I didn't. We also looked at and discussed that earlier. The figure does have, yes, peg holes on the bottoms of his feet. Mondo on the one, and then trademark on the other. Super stoked for what they're going to be doing with the Ghostbusters line. Now, again, they've announced, they have listed or announced all the 4 Ghostbusters quartet on social media. So again, we're going to be getting ourselves an Egon Spangler that's going to come with the Boogeyman. All really of the Ghostbusters, if you get your hands on the timed editions, they're all going to be coming with giant spooks and specters. In this case, though, I mean, certainly fitting for Halloween, Peter Venkman came included with Sam Hain. Now again, Sauron, I know it's not really the way that they pronounce it, but fine, though, just to keep calling him Sam Hain. I mean, that was the way he was also called in the cartoon. Things, though, I really liked about the timed edition is the fact that you do get yourself a full-sized Sam Hain. That you also get, even if you just don't get Sam Hain, or you can't get your hands on the timed edition, you just get the regular version. The fact that you get yourself some cardboard cutouts, I mean, Fearsome Flush. The fact that Fearsome Flush is making an appearance again, though only done really in cardboard, it keeps at least the floor dry. You don't have to worry about him drooling all over the place. Even to get then the regular edition, you still get yourself a sucked down Sam Hain inside the ghost trap. That's really cool. And of course, you also get yourself the proton pack. Now, again, the proton pack again does have one again real only issue I could really see facing it isn't so much really the foot pedal on the trap. I don't have any plans to rotate or like kind of bend the wire around the lower clip. I just feel like I'd rather keep this loose, just so it stays the way it looks right now. I'm sure, though, with this being also a wire, yeah, you could wrap the foot pedal along the bottom. I think it still looks clean the way it is. I don't think it necessarily needs it. The only one other issue I really had, as I did say in this review, more so stems from the clip right here. The clip is, again, just... If it had only just been rubber, again, like I feel like that would be a little bit more of a secure, because it's literally... I don't want to even say literally, it's just a little bit bigger than the handle itself. So clipping that in place, I mean, it's doable, but again, my only real worry though, yeah, you want to make sure, first of all, it's kind of as low down as you can really get it. Right here at the base of the handle seems a little more narrow than right above it. So you really want to kind of make sure it's as close down to this area of the proton wand as you can. If not though, I really feel like that clip, you just want to add unnecessary stress to that. But the proton pack looks fantastic though. I love that he comes included with the ghost trap. Obviously the proton stream is also a nice included accessory as well. Boy, well, like Mondo has, again, set the bar really high for what they could potentially do with the Ghostbusters. Whether, though, we will be getting any more of the Ghostbusters outside of the 4, at least, though, if they only end up releasing just those 4, getting, though, the timed editions means at least you're going to get the 4 Ghostbusters, you're also going to get a standalone Ghost, but then you're also going to get this spirited entity that get packed along with them as well. Well, I guess this is the end of Halloween, and no more disappointed by that news, I'm sure, is the mascot of Halloween, Sam Hain himself. You know, speaking of Sam Hain, one issue, though, I do actually have with the additional accessory that goes on top of the ghost trap, so it looks like Sam Hain, yes, is being sucked down into it, is it does add some additional back heaviness to it. I've got it right now just on the clear acrylic display stand that comes included with Venkman. I wish, though, that Mondo had also included a similar stand that could have attached on using that same half-circle shape that allows then the ghost trap to attach onto the proton pack. Just give a little additional display stand then for the ghost trap to stand on its own. It does, though, especially rotating on a rotisserie like this, cause then the stand, or cause then the ghost trap to fall backwards. And give it a little bit of time. It's probably going to end up happening in this review. One cool thing, though, is that Suck Down Sam Hain is going to at least be part of the regular version. That if you can't get your hands, or just don't have the budget necessarily, get yourself the timed edition, which sells then for $100 more. The regular version for $101 is still going to come include that accessory as well as Slimer. I love that they also included the Slimer. I mean, Peter Venkman does have, again, 2 swappable heads. Maybe it would have been fun if they could have also included a third head that had a slimed face. Other than that, though, I don't think there's anything at all I really would have added additionally to Peter Venkman. He has everything really that he needs. He has the proton pack on his back and he splits. He does also come included with the neutrino wand. Smart choice, too, that Mondo decided to have the neutrino wand attached by a rubber hose and not a plastic hose. Usually it is the case whenever other companies have handled the Ghostbusters property. Either, well, Kenner did, I think, use a rope. But then usually when you use plastic like this, plastic does eventually develop fracture marks, obviously. Using a rubber hose was certainly the smarter route to have gone with. The only one little bit that I wish had a little bit more give to it was the clip that actually holds the neutrino wand onto the proton pack. With it being a thin plastic like this, you do feel like you almost have to add a lot more pressure to it than what is really necessary just to attach it onto the back of his body. Aside from that, though, couldn't be any bit more happier with the real Ghostbusters Peter Venkman. Out the gate, though, I think like Mondo has knocked this out of the park. Now, if you do get your hands on the timed editions, again, they're going to work out to be about $100 more than the regular versions. What it does benefit, though, by is that the timed editions are also going to come include with the ghosts, the larger ghosts. Peter Venkman's going to come include, for example, with Sam Hain, obviously we looked at in this review. Egon Spangler is going to come include with the Boogeyman. Winston Sedmore is going to come include with the Sandman. And then they've just recently announced as well that Ray Stantz is going to come include with Mr. Gash. All top choice, all top build ghouls. I'm glad that they chose those. Even if they don't go any further than with a license than that. I think they've also shown at recent Comic-Cons that they're also going to be doing a Janine with the desktop, and super, again, excited for that. Whether they're going to be branching out and going any further with the licensing than just those 5 core characters, still, though, for what they've done so far, with between the timed editions or the regular editions, Mondo's doing a great job with the Ghostbusters license. A big again and thank you to the folks over at Mondo that did provide the sample of the new Ghostbusters. This was the timed edition limited release of Egon Spangler, Peter Venkman with Sam Hain. Again, the timed edition is sold currently out on their site. It was selling for $202, though the 1/12 scale of real Ghostbusters Peter Venkman is still available for $101. There is also still the regular versions. The pre-order's up right now for Winston Zedmore. There is also the timed edition currently still up for the Egon Spangler and Boogeyman. So again, if you want to get your hands on those, head on over to Mondo's site. What do you guys think of these? Let me know down below in the comment section. Have you guys started to collect the new Mondo Real Ghostbusters? And what do you guys think of these? If you guys in the meantime did enjoy this video, you can do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more? So I hope so. I know, again, we're kind of getting I mean, we're really past now Halloween. Halloween stopped at the 31st. We seem to have still continued our journeys down to the spooky realm of spooky videos. And maybe we're probably going to be wrapping up things shortly. But I hope, though, that you guys have enjoyed all the spookerific Spottober that we've had to look at, where all haunted related videos, all the spooky videos have all sort of inhabited that time period of the year. But there's certainly there goes Sam Hain. There's going to be more videos, though, coming your way, guys. So as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.